No matter how much effort is put into crafting a great story or presenting a terrific cinematic experience, even the most promising film can be decisively derailed by an actor who isn't right for the part, or, in the worst case scenario, it totally sucks the life out of the film with a terrible performance. The following 8 films are perhaps most in danger of being ruined by actors who are simply wrong for their respective roles, have proven themselves to be questionable in the past, or just straight up dampen enthusiasm for the end product. Here are 8 actors who will ruin upcoming films. Number 8. Johnny Depp, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them 2. Warner Bros. Clearly intended Fantastic Beasts' big reveal that Percival Graves was in fact the villainous Gellert Grindelwald to be a jaw-dropping, crowd-pleasing moment. In actual fact, the scene ended up more unintentionally crap than anything, due to the fact that Depp's popularity has waned considerably over the last year in particular. So now we're stuck with Depp as the antagonist for probably the next 4 films, when many fans would have preferred Colin Farrell to have played Grindelwald instead. Number 7. Emilia Clarke, Han Solo. Studios basically try to cast Game of Thrones actors in just about everything, regardless of whether or not they're suited for it, because their presence gives the project greater visibility. Clarke was already thrown haphazardly into the Terminator franchise, and now she's landed the female lead in the upcoming Han Solo-centric Star Wars anthology film. It might be tough to admit, but Clarke just isn't a particularly good actress. She just about gets away with it on Game of Thrones because she's propped up by excellent writing and direction, and much of her dialogue is spoken in a foreign tongue where it's easier to mask bad acting.
It's a terrible parcel to Paddy with the blueberries.
It feels like an extremely strange move to cast her in the Han Solo film just because of her popularity, as it's unlikely that she made it in on merit. Number 6. Jesse Eisenberg, Justice League. Batman v Superman was a heavily divisive film, one of the most controversial aspects of which was Jesse Eisenberg's eccentric, jittery performance as Lex Luthor. For every person who found Eisenberg's work a breath of fresh air, there was someone who found it irritating, obnoxious, and too far divorced from the Luthor they grew up with. It just depends on whether or not Eisenberg has listened to the criticism of his tick-infused performance and will recalibrate it accordingly, or whether he's ignoring the haters and continuing with a totally consistent performance. There are plenty of reasons why Justice League could be a bust, but few feel as divisive or as risky as a reprise of cinema's most despised incarnation of Lex Luthor. Number 5. Sophie Turner, X-Men Supernova. It's widely expected that the next major X-Men film, codenamed Supernova, will be a new adaptation of the Dark Phoenix saga, which of course revolves around Jean Grey. Unfortunately, Turner didn't give the strongest performance in X-Men Apocalypse, failing to maintain a consistent American accent.
Don't worry, Scott, there's not much to see.
Again, it feels like she was cast here to cash in on Game of Thrones' success, even though she wasn't qualified for the part. Now that Turner is definitively this generation's Jean Grey, we're probably stuck with her for at least 2 more films, the first of which seems set to place her as its protagonist. Number 4. Ray Fisher, Cyborg. Ray Fisher sticks out like a sore thumb in the Justice League lineup because his Batman v Superman cameo as Cyborg is his single released film credit to date. Now, it's worth considering that Fisher is an accomplished stage actor, but that doesn't necessarily mean his plaudits will translate well to the big screen. History is full of theatre actors whose first few screen roles have felt hammy and over the top because they're used to projecting for a theatre audience, and Fisher could easily fall prey to this. Admittedly, he'll have the Justice League and the Flash to hopefully iron out the kinks, but considering that he'll be the star of 2020's Cyborg solo film, there will be no room for screw-ups, and he's currently an unknown quantity as far as screen performance goes. Number 3. Annabelle Wallis, The Mummy. Annabelle Wallis plays archaeologist Jenny Halsey in the upcoming Mummy reboot, but it's hard not to be a little anxious about the casting considering that Wallis just isn't a very good actress. She stuck out like a sore thumb in Peaky Blinders, and Guy Ritchie reportedly cut her role back in his upcoming King Arthur film due to not being satisfied with her performance. While it doesn't seem like her role here will be especially demanding, at the same time she'll probably stand out just as bad when acting alongside Cruise. Number 2. Stephen Lang, Avatar 2. Stephen Lang is a terrific actor, making for a menacing villain in the original Avatar and also most recently in last summer's Don't Breathe, so his ruining the film isn't so much a performance issue, but more that his Colonel Quaritch character quite decisively died at the end of the first Avatar, so how the hell is he going to be brought back? The popular guess from fans so far seems to be that he'll end up being a Quaritch clone, which is at the same time fairly plausible and exceedingly daft. Lang's sheer presence, if this is true, could simply result in Avatar 2 having a groan-worthy villain, one who will apparently be sticking for the sequels in some form too. Number 1. Rihanna, Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. Rihanna will appear in Luc Besson's ambitious big-budget sci-fi as Bubble, described as a shape-shifting entertainer. Rihanna has appeared in a number of films over the years, perhaps most infamously in Battleship, and it's fair to say that she has yet to prove she actually has the stuff for acting. The size of her role is the big question here, but considering that she clearly interacts with the title character, she definitely won't be able to merely coast on her singing and dancing. And that's our list. Make sure you subscribe to the What Culture YouTube channel for more lists like this, and don't forget to visit whatculture.com for daily news and articles.